I'm going to start off this segment by talking about something that people are pissed off about. Has anyone seen that President Donald Trump is threatening to relocate World Cup matches? But he's threatening to remove the World Cup from Boston. And I feel like that thing that he wants to do is something that more people in cities across the United States should want. I know that's going to be an unpopular take here, but do you really want the World Cup in your backyard? I'm going to ask that question again. Do you really want your city to host a World Cup match or the Olympics? I ask that question as somebody who actually took a class that studied the Olympics back in college. And what I learned, this was my first experience of how the sausage is made in sports, is that the IOC is a bunch of corrupt assholes. And these people will basically ask countries across the world to kiss their ass so that these countries across the world have the opportunity of hosting a worldwide event. And essentially what it ends up being for these people who are in the IOC or in FIFA, an opportunity to go on vacation so that they get wined and dined and get to fuck their wife. I am not kidding on that front. That is what it's all about. And every single one of these host cities is going to have some sort of committee that is going to pat itself on the back for something that happens temporarily. And they're going to make all sorts of changes happen in your backyard for that temporary thing to please people that aren't from your city, with ideas that come from people that don't live in your city. When I frame it like this, when you realize that just getting to host a major sporting event involves a lot of Gluck Gluck 9000 to these corrupt assholes who legitimately just want to go on a fancy vacation to fuck their wife, does it make you feel a little bit different about hosting one of these places? Funny moment by Trump, who made things a little more difficult for these people. When the city selection event happened, FIFA wanted it to take place in Las Vegas. I wonder why, given what I just told you. Trump had it moved to Washington, D.C. Would you really want your city to host a World Cup match? It would be a great experience to go to the game. Anyone who's been to a Final Four game, it's that on steroids. By the way, Houston's hosted the Final Four a couple of times. It's had a couple of Super Bowls. Doesn't seem like a lot of the people involved in organizing those events are organizing the World Cup, which I'm not hearing some great things about behind the scenes, and we'll be doing more looking into in the near future. But would you want the World Cup here, realizing that that short moment where you maybe go to a World Cup game, that memory that you create, it's fleeting. But the changes that happen to a city that hosts one of these major events are not. And often it leads to wasteful spending and things that don't get used once they're done. You've seen extreme examples of this in Brazil, in China, for past Olympics and past World Cups. But do you know what's going on in Houston? Do you know what's going on in downtown Houston? Did you know that downtown Houston is going to be transforming a little bit over the next couple of years? Partly for the World Cup, and partly for the Republican National Convention in 2028. They're going to create this big walkable promenade in downtown Houston. We all know what downtown Houston is. Ghost town. No one walks in this city. You got to have a car to live here. If you don't, it sucks. Take a look at old pictures of Houston. Downtown Houston was a bunch of parking lots. Take a look at pictures of Houston today. Lots of buildings. But do you see people walking around very often? No, you don't. This is not that kind of city, no matter how hard people try to make it that kind of city. Part of the reason is it's fucking October and it's 90 degrees outside right now. But when you got people who aren't from a city, who have these big plans that they want to build something, they don't think about the long term. Are people going to use a downtown promenade? Maybe, but probably people from outside the city, because this is going to be around a bunch of convention centers for people outside of the city. How does this help us? People will tell you about trickle-down economics when it comes to hosting events. It's bullshit. Complete bullshit. So many studies about it. Hey, if you get a stadium, a new stadium, it's going to create jobs. Full-time ones with insurance, with premiums going up? No, it doesn't do that. It's going to give you part-time jobs for people to work at a stadium, for concerts, for games. Well, there'll be restaurants in the area around the stadium. Sure, maybe, maybe not. By the way, how many businesses have been closing recently in that downtown Houston area where they're going to create this promenade? How many? I'm sure that people with a lot of money who are investing in real estate are loving this. Real estate's the constantly appreciating asset. Fantastic. This is great. But who the fuck's going to use this promenade? They're permanently closing Polk Street, I saw. This was voted on. 14-1. Did we even get to vote on that? Classic Houston. We don't get to vote on something that we want to vote for, like destroying the Astrodome, which we voted to do. They still think that's going to turn into some sort of convention center. Who's going to fucking pay for that? You got to ask yourself what the World Cup coming here long term is going to do for you, for me. Because there's going to be some massive changes happening. This promenade apparently costs $2 billion. Where does that money come from? Where does it come from? In a city that's focusing on fucking crosswalks, whether it's got George Floyd or rainbows on them. Where the fuck's that money coming from? $2 billion. You think it's only going to cost $2 billion? You fucking idiot. This is one of those things that you see the $2 billion number. This is going to be $5, $6 billion. It's going to take way too long to be built. Is the World Cup going to benefit Houston long term? Doubtful.